Welcome all. It's time for another exciting edition of the show with no name, and we are ready to lift off. So, everybody, buckle up because here we go.
T minus
10,
10,
9,
9, 8,
8. Come
7,
on, do it
6,
with me.
5,
You got it.
4, 3,
2,
2,
you know the
1,
rest. Come on.
0. Ignition.
I need your help, folks.
Liftoff.
I can't do this without you.
30 minutes.
Here we go. Come on. Get up there. Get ready. Hold on to your hats. Strap on your seatbelt. Fasten your seatbelts. Hold on to your hat. Get ready for the ride of your life. The show with no name time on Vaughn Radio. It's the show with no name. Let's go. Let's go. That's right, amigos. That's right. Welcome aboard. Welcome aboard. It's time for another exciting edition of the show with no name. That's right, folks, where you learn English, among other things. Entre otras cosas. You're not only going to learn English, but we're going to go on an amazing, interactive adventure together. And folks, I already see so many people joining us. Remember, you can join us daily in our virtual classroom. You can join us on YouTube, Facebook, also on Twitter. Remember, if you're not following Vaughn, if you're not following me, if you're not following my buddies at Vaughn Radio, you are missing out. Man, as I told you yesterday, my buddy Tosh Pasqua has been finally, I mean, she's been teaching for years. She's excellent at what she does, but she just took that and brought it to social media. So now, if you are following Tosh Pasqua, you're not only going to learn from her show, Back to Basics, but you're also going to learn from her videos on social media. So I think the world is lucky. I was actually chatting with Tosh. I'll let you in on some inside information. I was chatting with Tosh, and she said, I owe you a beer. Thanks for your help. I didn't really do anything. I just told her some, a couple things that I have learned. And she said, I owe you a beer. I said, you don't owe me anything. You owed it to your students to be on social media, to have your classes, your mini classes, because they hear you every day on the show, but now they get to see your smile and see your energy, which, as all of you know, Tosh Pasqua has contagious energy. And speaking about contagious energy, we've got another amiga joining us, and I'm really excited to welcome her back. I don't know the date, but folks, it is magical. Ximena Holiday is returning to Vaughn Radio. Okay, she was across the pond. She was living in Canada for a period due to her husband's line of work. She has to travel. She's lived all over the world. I'm sure she has told you guys about when she lived in Siberia. No, it's not a joke. I know usually Siberia is the butt of a cold joke. No, Ximena really lived there. And she's going to be back with her program, Test Your English. I imagine it's going to be right after the show with no name. But guys, remember, if you want to keep up to date with what's going on in the Vaughn world, follow us on social media. That's a great way to make sure you don't miss anything. Plus, you'll get tons of content, and you'll do really well in our pop quiz. Pop quiz. Come on. Pop quiz. Let's go. Pop quiz. Come on. Come on, quiz. What's it called? Oh, that's it. Pop quiz. Yeah, pop quiz. Hands up. Let's go. Come on. Pop quiz. Come on. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Oops. Pop quiz. Yeah, pop quiz. That's right, amigos. It's our pop quiz where we test you. We put you to the test. We test you just like Ximena's show, Test Your English. And as many of you know, on my social media too, I'm always posting videos, little challenges. So make sure you're following all of us, because I know we all put a lot of time, a lot of energy, and a lot of effort into that additional content. But we also feel it's really important. And if you guys retweet, or if you share it, if you like it, if you comment, well, that makes it even more visible. So thank you guys. Thank you again for not just spreading the word, but for leading by example. Okay, so when people see you guys speak English or understand English, they look at you and say, "What? How did you do that?" So you're leading by example. I just think you say predicar con el ejemplo. We say liderar, enseñar el camino, to lead by example. It's a wonderful example. It's in parenting. It's the basics, right? You can't tell your daughter not to watch TV if you're constantly watching TV. You get, because then it's hypocritical behavior. So folks, welcome aboard. It's a pleasure to have you all with us here again for another exciting show with no name. I'm going to give you today's pop quiz, and then we'll read some comments in our chat room. I also want to remind you guys of a couple things before we get going. We have our next Vaughn Radio Trivia Night, hosted by Guy Williams. It's taking place on March 1st, el primero de marzo, March 1st, at 8:30 p.m. at Roll Madrid, where it always takes place. Yeah. March 1st, Guy Williams, Vaughn Radio Trivia Night. Hey, who knows? Ximena might even be there. Oh, wow, that would be awesome. Oh, now you guys are going to come, huh? I guess Kyle Miller and Guy and myself, we're not enough for you, are we? No, that's awesome. I imagine that Ximena, as a good British person, is always up for, siempre le apetece, she's always up for a trivia night. Also, guys, mark your calendars. I know I don't want to get too far ahead of myself, but I also know that we don't only have listeners in Madrid. We don't only have listeners in Spain, viewers. You guys are from all over the world. And I just want to let you know, if you can make it to Madrid, I would love to meet you. I'd love to sign your books. And I can't say anything yet. I can't let the cat out of the bag. But if all goes according to plan, okay, if deadlines are met, we've got a surprise for you at this coming book fair. So mark your calendars. It's May 26th to June 11th. That's all the information I have right now, but at least we know those weekends, if you can get to Madrid, it'll be awesome, because all of us really look forward to going to the book fair. I know myself, and I imagine the only people who get paid, I imagine, are the people who are working, like, charging people. You want a bag, like Kike? Okay, but we go there because we love to meet you guys. Nobody's paying us or anything, and we're not going there to sell books either, because if I got to sell a lot of books to pay for my taxi. You see what I'm saying? So we go there because we freaking love to meet you guys, to chat with you guys, and I'm looking forward to it as always. And again, I can't give you any more information, but if all goes according to plan, we are going to have a serious surprise at this book fair. Aside from Ximena, which is already amazing news as well. So we're kicking off with tons of news here. Also, a quick reminder, as of this March, that's this coming month, in fact, as of the day of the book of the next trivia night, we will be an official center for the Oxford Test of English, as it's called. It's called the Oxford Test of English, and we will be an official center where you can get tested and you can find out your level on the Oxford scale. This is great news for you guys. This is great news for us. To team up is unirnos, unir fuerzas. Teaming up with Oxford is awesome, in my opinion, and I hope you guys will make the most of it. As I said, that's all the information I have now. I like to give you, just let you know what's coming, what's in store, que está por venir. So stay tuned. Again, the best way is follow us on social media, listen to our programs, download the Vaughn Radio app, and we'll keep you abreast, es otra forma de decir actualizado, of what's going on in the Vaughn world. All right, let's take a look at today's pop quiz. Okay, now I gave you guys this word the other day in one of my videos, and it's a word that you guys all know, but I don't know if you know how to use it in this context. So the word I'm looking for is to meet the demands of. So Vaughn meets the demands, we hope, of English learners, los que están aprendiendo inglés. Okay, so, but I don't want you to use to meet the demands of or to meet the needs. También satisface, atiende las necesidades. It's a really good word to know if you didn't know it. And I know you know it, but as I said, you probably know it in another form. So in Spanish, it would be satisfacer, atender, complacer, atender. I think also dirigirse a as well would be another way to say this. All right, so that's what we're looking for. Remember, I don't just want a word, porque si sabes una palabra, big deal. Qué bien, enhorabuena. What I want to know is that you know how to use it. That's what I'm looking for. Okay, guys? So use it in context. Remember, you can join us in our virtual chat room. All right, let's take a look at who is in our virtual chat room. I think we need a little beat to liven things up, alegrar la cosa, live, como alive vivo. So let's liven things up with a little beat as we read our comments here in our virtual chat room. And I want to take a quick minute to send a shout out to everybody who doesn't tune in live. I know there are just as many, if not a lot more, people who listen to this show or listen to this podcast or even watch this video, but you can't do it live. In fact, somebody comes to mind. I want to send a shout out to all of you, especially Nata. Hey, your fellow student, Nata, she comments every day, but she's not here with us live. So I want to send a shout out to all of you guys who are here day in, day out, but you're not here live. You're here. I feel you. I know you're here. I'm talking to you too. Okay? All right, let's take a look at our amigos who are here in the live chat. Kubla says, good morning, enticing fellow Spaniards or any other nationality. Oh, yeah, all nationalities welcome here. Monse, there she is. Monse says, morning, guys. How you doing? Well, great, now that you're here, Monse. Let's see, Chris Valrol, there she is, our movie queen. She's the movie queen, oh yeah. And she says, morning, Alberto and mates. I'm happy to be able to attend the show and maybe to be able to assist the teach or my fellow students. What Chris Valrol is doing there is she's showing me that she got the video I posted yesterday. So yesterday I posted a video with the false friends, asistir y to attend and to assist. Que una cosa es ayudar y otra cosa en inglés es asistir a una clase. So Chris was just proving to me and to you guys that she got the lesson. Chris, wonderful. Now you're not going to forget it because you just used it. That's exactly what I want. There's Born to Iron Man. Can't start without him. Our superstar. Born to rock and roll. I'm changing your name, dude. Eso es que has nacido para hacer lo que sea. Right? Para tomar acción. Morning, amigos. And I like how you put morning. Morning without that G. Yo no digo la G. Pregunta a mi hija. Good morning. Morning. I don't say good either. Excuse me. Morning. Kubla says, of course, Ximena's an accomplished teacher and a dear and an author. She's written so many books, including the Disney collection that comes out every Saturday, which I can't wait. I'm going to have the whole collection. It will be mine. All right, let's see. Eoel says, I follow you since 2014. Hang on. Firstly, thank you. Secondly, vamos a cambiar el tiempo verbal. I've been following you. Esto es el presente perfecto continuo, si importa el nombre. I've been following you, porque empezó en el pasado y sigue en vigor. I've been following you since 2014. Thank you so much, Eoel. A pleasure. Speaking of people who have been my student for decades now, there's Vero. Hello, Vero. Hope you're feeling better. She says, morning, amigos. Hump day in the house. Still a bit under the weather, but with much more energy than these last days. Thanks for all the quick recovery wishes. That's really kind of you all. Well, we care about you, Vero. And as I told you guys, my daughter yesterday started coughing. It got worse. So she stayed home from school. You might even hear her in the recording today. So, hey, that's life. One's getting better, the other's getting worse. But hey, the most important thing is what Vero showed us. The whole time she wasn't feeling well, she had the right attitude. And that goes a long way. Da para mucho. So, Vero, glad to hear you're doing well. Let's see. Kubla says, if you reach out to Ximena, please give her our warm regards. Well, the good news is, Kubla, you don't need a middleman anymore. Intermediario. You guys can contact her on social media. I'm sure she would love to hear from all you guys. She's on Twitter. She's on Instagram. Hey, drop her a line. Seguro que le haces el día. You'll make her day. Yeah, reach out. Great word there, Kubla. Contactar. I suggest you guys do it. Hey, Ximena, we're really excited to have you back on the air. I'm sure, I guarantee, she'll have a smile from ear to ear. She'll be beaming, reluciendo con esa sonrisa. All right, let's see. Kubla says, Ximena's back on the radio because she meets the required demands of said media. Kubla, that sounds like a documentary. I know you're a formal guy, but we don't want to sound like AI. No queremos sonar como inteligencia artificial. Nosotros es el inverso, AI, en vez de IA, AI. So, I get what you're doing there, Kubla. You sound like a robot. Let's see. Chris says, Nata, we miss you. Our homophones love her. Well, Nata's with us every day. Even though she's not with us live, she's with us every single day. Nata, we love you. Hey, I mean that. Jaime says, hey, AA, I know you don't need my assistance, but I love attending your class. Okay. I love it. You guys are showing off now. That's what I'm talking about. Showing off. Presumiendo. Hey, that's what I want you to do. Jaime, great job. You got it as well. You and Chris were really paying attention to my posts. Excellent. And what does that mean? You're learning English. You're learning to avoid these false friends. Let's see. Who else have we got here? Oh, Chris Valrol in the house as well. Okay, I don't think anybody got our pop quiz. Hang on a second. Well, Kubla gave us the example I used, right? which was to meet the required demands. But if you say that, I'll be like, man, I don't know about this company. They're not very personable. You know, sounds like I'm talking to a machine. Everybody likes a little automation until you think you're talking to a robot, right? Everyone's like, oh, it's very convenient. It's automated. But then when you're like, oh, no, I can't talk to a human being. Don't underestimate the power of a human being. Okay, let's see. AOL says, I have been following you since 2014. That's it. Sí, ahora nunca te vas a equivocar. Piénsalo con todo lo que llevas haciendo, okay? So, yo te voy a dar ejemplos míos. And then you guys come up with your own examples to practice the present perfect continuous, or whatever you want to call it. Doesn't matter. It's have más been más el gerundio. O si es tercera persona, he, she, or it has been doing it. So my sister's been living in the United States her whole life. Sigue en vigor, empezó en el pasado. She's been, se puede contraer. Instead of she has, she's been living in the United States her whole life. I've been living in Spain. La pregunta, how long have you been living in Spain, Alberto? Good question. I've been living in Spain for almost 20 years. Yeah, when you lose track, cuando pierdes la cuenta, you know it's a long time. All right, let's see. Chris. All right. There it is, Chris. I was like, come on, somebody's got to figure out the pop quiz. And you know why? Because it's a word you all know. All right. Chris says, you and Vaughn's sphere, la esfera tuya y de Vaughan, cater us a wonderful content in English. All right. Well, Chris, that's the word. But we would say cater to. So hay que aprender esta palabra cater con to. Es como listen. Lo aprendemos con to. Wait. Wait for, esperar, right? You got to learn them as little like frasecillas. So cater to, porque van junto. De hecho, yo diría cater to, como una sola. So to meet the demands of, Vaughn caters to all levels. ¿No? Nosotros atendemos, complacemos, satisfacemos, llegamos a las necesidades de cualquier nivel en inglés. Whether you're a beginner, an intermediate, or a high-level student, there's something for you. You can stop by our website, grupovon.com, follow us on social media as well, and we'll tell you about the latest things. So to cater to someone, it's directed at, it aims to please, intenta complacer a. It's a very, es como decir nuestro target, nuestro público, right? Our products, our programs, our materials cater to the needs of any English learner, okay? To cater to. Let's look at some examples here on word reference. You know, it's always good to see it in other examples too. So just because he's the boss, so porque es el jefe, he thinks I have to cater to his every desire. Ahora, ¿te suena la palabra catering? Catering? ¿Qué están haciendo? Satisface, atendiendo. Okay? The catering department. And the verb is to cater. Okay, so vamos a ver las dos cosas. To cater to, dirigirse a, satisfacer, atender, complacer. But to cater a party is ser el catering. Who's your caterer? Who's catering this party? I know you know the word de catering, but it's catering in English. So let's look at another example. Okay? This company caters to the needs of young people. ¿No? Esta empresa intenta satisfacer, atender a la gente joven. All right. Awesome. Awesome stuff, guys. Great job. Let's see. Kubla says, Tosh has been an English teaching radio titan for a long while. I love it, Kubla. It's poetic. I expect nothing less from you, sir. I know you like to use sir. But then again, you're not that formal. You're a down-to-earth guy, just like all of you guys. All right, well, guys, I can't believe it, but we've got to go to a quick commercial break. Yeah. We've flown through the first part of today's show. The good news, we've got so much to do, so much to share. We're going to laugh, we're going to learn right after this quick commercial break. So, stick around. Welcome back. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. You are listening to The Show with No Name on Vaughn Radio. Don't forget you can warm up for this show because I know there's a lot going on in this show. Well, you can warm up every day with my buddy Fitz and his program, No Excuses. Also remember, if you haven't tried out our new initiative, I won't say her name, with the Amazon assistant, you should try it out. Hey, just to let us know how it goes. It'll help you with your pronunciation. So if you don't pronounce something, if it doesn't recognize it as the normal pronunciation, it'll ask you to repeat it. And so I think it's brilliant. I've been playing with it a little bit, but I'd like to get some feedback from our students, even though really I had nothing to do with it. I can't take any credit, but I think it's brilliant that now you can say to your phone, hey, Amazon's assistant, I want to learn English. And not only can you listen to English podcasts, but you can also now interact. You can speak, and I think that's what most of my students are lacking now. No carecen de. You're lacking that opportunity to speak in English. I try and give it to you here on the show, which, by the way, I didn't receive any voice messages last night. I was expecting you guys to flood me with messages. And if you'd like to participate in our voice message section where you, that's right, the listener, the student, can have a voice here on the show, real simple. All you have to do is send me a 1-minute voice note. Keep it under, you don't want it to go over a minute. Send me a voice note and tell us something. Share something maybe about yourself, maybe something you learned in English, and we would love to hear from you. Again, if you want to send me a message, you can do that. It's alonso@grupovon.com. Alonso, so son dos A's. Alonso@grupovon.com. All right. I look forward to hearing from you, and I'm sure I speak on behalf of all your fellow students. We look forward to hearing from you. And let's see who we're going to hear from in today's Say What? Say what? What? Oh yeah, oh yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. All right. Get your hands up. Get your hands up. Get your hands up. Put those hands up. Say what? Say what? Say what? Say what? Say what? 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 Huh? Say what? Oh, what? Huh? That's right, folks. The Say What soundbite. This is where we hear a famous person speaking, and you guys got to break down what you heard. I want you to give it to me in your best English. Your ultimate goal, though, is to write down word for word what you heard. You know how this works, folks. All right, so everybody grab a pen, grab a piece of paper, and write down today's Say What soundbite. Write down as much as you possibly can on the first and the second listen. Some of you have shown me that you can get it after the second listen. Some of them are harder, some of them are easier. Let's see what you think about today's Say What soundbite.
I'll take my chances on the track any day than on a highway. I think I'd better take off. Take it easy driving. The life you might save might be mine.
All right, there you go, folks. That was the first listen of the Say What soundbite. Hopefully, you were able to get the gist of it, la idea principal. I don't think it was too difficult. Pretty straightforward, sin mucho rodeo, straightforward. All right, I'll give you a second or two, and then I'm going to give it to you for a second time. Again, you're going to get it for a total of 4 listens here, and I'm sure you guys will be able to get it today. I think everybody, knowing your levels, I think all of you should be able to get it, whether it's after the third listen or the fourth listen, doesn't matter. But I want everybody to take a stab at it. All right, here it is, the Say What soundbite for the second time.
I'll take my chances on the track any day than on a highway. I think I'd better take off. Take it easy driving. The life you might save might be mine.
All right, there you go. Sounds like there's some irony in the voice. There's somebody laughing as well. So, all right, well, I'm going to let you guys give me your opinion. And in the meantime, we'll go on over to our spelling bee.
Spelling bee.
Spelling bee.
Spelling bee.
Here we go. Here we go. Here we go.
Spelling bee.
Let's go.
Spelling bee.
Spelling bee.
Spelling bee.
Come on. That's right. That's right, amigos. You know it. You know it. It's our spelling bee, probably the toughest section on our show, but I don't doubt it. I'm sure at least 1 or 2 of you will get it on the first go. Today, we're going to look at titles of movies. Okay, so, and I hope you know do you know how to capitalize movie titles? It's very different than in Spanish than in English. Okay, so let's go over this. Movie and book titles in English. Okay, I think in Spanish it's quite different. And this is important if you're going to write it in a paper. My favorite book is A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens, por ejemplo. Okay. What happens? How do we capitalize movie and book titles? I remember learning this in 2nd grade. Fíjate. The first word and the last word must be capitalized. So vamos a usar la que hemos visto. A Christmas Carol by, as I said, Charles Dickens. Well, has to be capitalized because it's the first word. Christmas is definitely capitalized because it's a holiday, but it's capitalized. And the last word, because it's capitalized. So there are only 3 words. But what happens if you have Gone with the Wind? Okay, well, now something changes. We still have to capitalize our first word and our last word, gone and wind. Lo que el viento se llevó, you call it. But with and the are not really important words, are they? They're like the glue. Las palabras que son como las preposiciones, the words that put things together that don't need to stand out, destacar tanto, those are lowercase, like of, and those words are lowercase, minúscula. Okay, this is how we capitalize. So remember, first and last word and major words. palabras importantes. Okay, that's a general rule. Now, you could say, well, this is important. Sometimes it's stylistic, but that's a general rule when we talk about capitalizing. And I'm going to give you movies today, so bear that in mind, okay? When we're writing the words, is this a major word or not really? And then I'm going to give you the year as well. So today we're going to take a look at years too. So we've got our spelling bee is going to be tough. I'm telling you, it's gonna be tough. All right, let's take a look over here and see what we've got. We've got some people participating in our Say What soundbite before we start our spelling bee. Let's see. Kubla says, yes, double A, speaking formal utterances, but always tongue in cheek. All right, I got you. I know you, but remember, when you text somebody something or put something on Twitter, there's no irony. You can put irony as a hashtag, but bear that in mind, because sometimes my sense of humor in an email, I think it's funny, and then I'm like, I don't think anybody got that. So just be careful with that. I know from experience. Vero says, I think Vaughn is the only English method that reaches a C2 proficiency level classes. Attending to, hang on, esto lo vimos, Vero, did you see my video on attend and assist? Dije en el video, en español tendéis a decir asistir a la clase. No, es como lo decís, no tendéis a decirlo. So what you guys usually say is, I attended to your class. Cuando ese to en inglés no está. So quitamos ese to. Attending proficiency classes is really difficult out there. I talk from experience. Yeah, I know, Vero. I know you've tried a lot of different things. Let's see. Jaime is participating in our Say What soundbite. And Jaime says, someone's giving advice. Everyone else. Okay, so giving advice to, pero perfecto. Así vemos cómo se estructura esta, cómo se usa dar consejos a. So someone is giving advice to. Vamos a coger el attend que usó Vero, attend to, cogemos tu to que no va ahí y lo metemos aquí. ¿Ves? Como equipo lo hacéis. Someone's giving advice to everyone else about driving a truck. All right. Very interesting, Jaime. Short and sweet. But hey, just be careful to give advice to somebody. Vero's on fire today. You can tell she's feeling better. And she says, an American man talking about taking a stab at driving a truck. Interesting. All of you guys heard the word truck over there. Well, what if I told you it wasn't a truck? What if I told you the word that you heard is not truck? Okay, let's see. Kubla says, I heard some American people chatting and laughing about driving on the track. Aha, that's the word. Track, la pista, or the highway. One of them advises another to take driving easy. Very good. Great job. Great job, guys. Monse, that was an old tape of a couple of Southerners. Good word, Monse. Sureños. Southerners. Y cuidado. South. Southerners are from the South. ¿Y por qué no es Southerners? Porque así es el inglés. Okay, pero lo mismo con North, Northerner. Northern, Southern. Cambia. Okay. So that was an old tape of a couple of Southerners talking about safe driving. Great job, Monse. Wonderful. Wonderful. Let's see. Leonardo says, I think it's a clip from an American movie in which a character is telling someone that he took his chances on the highway in his truck. There's that truck again. Ese camión. Well, just remember something here. The British don't say truck. What do the British call it? They call it a lorry. So I was driving a lorry. Lori for us is a woman's name. We call it a truck. All right. Anybody else? There's Chris Valrol. She says, I heard two American men. One of them is talking about chances on his track. Very good job, guys. A nice round of applause for all of you. Excellent job. Excellent job. In our Say What soundbite, let's see the spelling bee. Let's see the spelling bee, amigos. Okay. The first one. Are you ready? Let me give you the bell. The bell is great here. It's really important. All right. The first word in today's spelling bee is, are you ready? TRIUMPH space OF space THE space, last word, WILL. And the year is 1934. The second movie is SONG space OF space THE space, last word, SOUTH. And the year's 1946. The third one is two words, so they're both capitalized. DEEP space THROAT, and the year's 1972. The fourth one is FACES space OF, last word, space, last word, DEATH, and the year's 1978. The fifth one is CA. It's two words, so both are going to be capitalized, okay? CANNIBAL space HOLOCAUST. And the year there is 1980. And the last one is KIDS, and that is 1995. On the last one was pretty short, wasn't it? Okay, so let's see what you guys got there in the spelling bee. Let's see if anybody was able to get it after that first lightning round, as we call it. And ladies and gentlemen, unfreaking believable. He is unstoppable. You know who it is. I don't have to tell you who nailed it, or do I have to tell you? Ladies and gentlemen, your buddy, born to Iron Man, he got it literally within a second. So I finished saying the list. I took a deep breath, and voila. And Bob's your uncle, como vimos el otro día. Unfreaking believable. Kubla right on his heels there. Excellent job, guys. All right, well, I'm going to do it again, and this is going to be for the rest of us. Again, if I were one of you guys, okay, if I was a student right now, or not even just as a native speaker, I would definitely be in the second category. I'm just not fast enough. All right, this is round two. The first movie is TRIUMPH space OF space THE space, last word, WILL. And the year's 1934. The second one is SONG space OF space THE space, last word, SOUTH. And the year's 1946. The third one is DEEP space THROAT. Two words there, so they're both capitalized. And the year's 1972. The fourth one is three words. The first word is FACES space OF space DEATH. And the year's 1978. The fifth one's two words, so they'll both be capitalized. And that's CANNIBAL space HOLOCAUST. And the year is 1980. Okay, and the last one is one word, so it's capitalized, obviously, KIDS, and the year is 1995. All right, I see so many students figuring it out, so wonderful job to, wrong effect. That's the one. Excellent job to Born to Iron Man, Kubla, Chris Valrol, and Vero. And as Kubla points out, these are all controversial movies. Películas controvertidas o polémicas, I think you could say. We say controversial, and the noun is controversy. Okay. There's a lot of controversy around these movies. They are very controversial. Polémicos. Okay. So why did I choose these movies? Well, why not? This sounds like an exciting topic. What made them controversial? And also, I chose them because today, one of the most controversial movies in American history, at least, came out today. It premiered in Los Angeles. And that movie is called The Birth of a Nation. Okay, The Birth of a Nation. It's D.W. Griffith. And that was today in 1915. And this was a silent epic drama, and it basically portrayed the KKK, the Ku Klux Klan, and as heroes, and it portrayed Black people as sexually aggressive, unintelligent. So I mean, this was like white supremacy propaganda, and the film was a huge success. So it was obviously controversial. And that came out, if you haven't seen it, I remember seeing it in school. We had to study. Wow. At one point, this was seen as okay to put out. And that's, again, you guys know I don't believe in censorship, but I also believe in good taste. And man, I mean, if you're going to make a propaganda film about hating another race, that get ready. You're going to have some, people are going to be upset about that, So let's take a look at other movies, excuse me, at other movies that were controversial and why. As I said, The Birth of a Nation showed extreme racism, and it almost glorified racism, and it made Afro-Americans look like, morons, really. The next one is Triumph of the Will. And this one came out in 1934. And this was pure Nazi propaganda. Okay, the same way the other one was pure white supremacy, KKK, hero. Well, this was painting a picture of the Nazis, the ones who in World War II were not too popular and still not popular. This was Nazi propaganda, excuse me, not propaganda, propaganda. We pronounce it a little bit different, instead of propaganda. You say propaganda, we say propaganda. So the triumph of the will. Again, I don't know what these are called in Spanish, but I'm sure you studied these, or some of you might even remember when these came out in history. The next one is called Song of the South. And this one came out in 1946, and it depicts slavery. So it shows slavery, and it's a musical. It's but again, that back then that was seen as something that was acceptable. Now you can tell the same story without making people look bad. And in fact, there's still even though this movie came out in 1946, there's still so much controversy around it because there's a ride at Disney, una atracción, which is called Splash Mountain. It's awesome, by the way. It's a water ride, like a roller coaster with water, right? And since it's based on Song of the South, well, not a lot of people, a small minority of people are calling for the ride to be closed. What about just retheming it? No sé, que si le das otra temática, and we move on. All right, so that's Song of the South, still making headlines, and it came out in 1946. The next one is Deep Throat. Garganta Profunda. I think you call it the same. And this was Linda Lovelace. Lovelace. Le encanta el encaje. Hey, look at that. Linda Lovelace and Deep Throat. And this basically brought pornography. You say pornografía, we say pornography. Un poco diferente. This brought pornography to the mainstream in 1972 because no, real movie, obviously there were porno movies before that, but no real movie before that, made it look normal or mainstream to do porno. So it basically normalized it. The same way a lot of these normalized the KKK. This one normalized the Nazis. So same idea. The next one came out in 1978. This was 1978. It's a series of films. And I remember going to the video store and renting these with my friends. So I have to say, I'm guilty here of watching these. Now I think about it, and I mean, even on Twitter, when someone shares a video of somebody getting beat up, que le están dando una paliza, or, somebody falling and breaking something, or never mind, somebody dying. Well, these are movies. This was now remember, now people are almost desensitized, sadly, because of video. I don't want to blame video games, but in general, movies are violent. I'm not trying to be Mr. Parent. I'm just, being honest here. But this showed real death. So this was not a movie so much as a documentary by, I can't remember the guy's name, but just the opening scene, the doctor, the mortician who does the series, like just his voice, his look, you're like, oh my God, this is crazy. I don't recommend you watch it, but I remember when I was a kid, I guess it was that morbid curiosity. We watched it. Now, again, this isn't like a snuff film. A snuff film is where they kill somebody or, do something brutal to somebody and they film it. That's different. These were, okay, a video. This was, again, before you could go to YouTube and watch Alguien cayéndose de la noria, So this was that before that. It's the faces of death. And speaking of snuff films, Cannibal Holocaust was our next one, and it came out in 1980. And this one, they said, people were really injured and possibly even killed on the set of this. Now, again, this is pretty crazy, but the film was investigated. This is going too far. Well, either way, folks, we've got to go to a quick commercial break. We'll be right back with tons more Show with No Name. So stick around. Hey, amigos, welcome back. Welcome back to, oh my God, the third part of today's Show with No Name, the second half. Holy cow, we already did 2 parts? My God. It's true, time flies when you're having fun. It happens every day here on the Show with No Name with you guys. Thank you so much for having fun with us. And learning as well. And I feel like you guys know a secret. And that secret is that the learning process has to be fun. You have to enjoy it. It shouldn't be a chore. No debería ser un deber. I think you guys know that, and you've found the secret to learning, laughing, and having fun. We do it every day here on the Show with No Name. But don't forget, we've got tons of amazing programs on Vaughn Radio all day long. We've got No Excuses with Fitz right before this show. We've got Let's Get Random with Jules Linares. We've got Western Civilizations with Guy Williams, who's hosting our next trivia night, March 1st. We've also got The Salad with David Boyes. We've got Drive Time with Kyle Miller. The Lunchtime Show with Rob and Andy. And Ximena will be back shortly in nada. In 2 shakes of a lamb's tail, in un plis plas. Ximena's going to be back with her program, Test Your English, which I already told her I think she should name the show Test Nacho, because that's really what she's doing. Okay, she's testing you guys, the listeners, but the one that she's really making sure is on his toes is Nacho. And to be on your toes, or to be on the ball, es estar espabilado. That's Test Your English, and it's coming back to Vaughn Radio soon. And I know Ximena's excited. She'd love to hear from you guys. Drop her a line. If you're not following her, follow her on social media and get ready to have some fun. She is just a fun and funny person. Una persona graciosa y divertida. And folks, let's have some fun with today's homophones.
Homophones, homophones on the show with no name. It's homophones time, cause homophones rhyme. They sound the same on the show with no name. The show with no name. Homophones on the show with no name. Cause homophones time, it's homophones rhyme. They sound the same on the show with no name. The show with no name. The show with no name. The show it no, show it no, show it no, show it no.
That's right, amigos. It's homophones on the show with no name, or not. Maybe they're homophones, maybe they aren't homophones. You are going to tell me, my amigos. As always, we'll use these words in context. We'll also look at secondary, or even maybe some of them have 3 or 4 meanings, as we've seen. So are you guys ready here? Okay, the first word, and remember, give it to me all together. The first word I want you guys to give me is, in Spanish, resbalarse. Escurrirse. Okay, resbalarse, escurrirse. Okay, you might be familiar with this word already. What else? It's also resbalón. So I guess it makes sense, okay? It's also a mistake. You say lapsus, error, okay? It's also something my grandma used to wear. I think you say, ¿dónde está la palabra que busco? It's, I'm looking for it. It's something that she used to wear under her pajamas. Where's the word? Combinación. That's the word. So, combinación, resbalar, resbalón, lapsus, error. Wow, that's a rich word. And we're going to take a look at all those meanings. We'll take a look at the conjugation and all that jazz. The second word is dormir o sueño. Okay, tengo problemas con el sueño. Sueño o dormir is our second word. Our first word is resbalar, patinar, escurrirse, combinación as well, lapsus o error. And those are your homophones or not. You tell me if those 2 words sound the same or not. Also, I've got to give you guys today's Say What soundbite. This is the 3rd listen. Please write down what you hear.
I'll take my chances on the track any day than on a highway. I think I'd better take off. Take it easy driving. The life you might save might be mine.
All right, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. There you go. That's the 3rd listen of the Say What soundbite. You're going to get 1 more listen. Hopefully somebody will be able to figure it out. Let's take a look at the comments and see how you guys did on the homophone section. Kubla says, Faces of Death was directed by John Allen Schwartz. I didn't remember his name, but I remember he's a pretty creepy looking guy. Let's see. Chris says, oh my God, I couldn't watch Cannibal Holocaust, for instance. I don't like this kind of movies. I watched A Clockwork Orange, and it was really tough. Yeah, me too, Chris. I like horror movies. I like thrillers, but I don't like gory movies. Just gore for gore's sake. No, por el amor de gore. Not my cup of tea. Kubla says Nacho's English has skyrocketed since she asked him to join her in the studio, right? En vez de on, porque on sería encima de, those pesky prepositions. Yeah, ever since Ximena has asked Nacho to join her in the studio or on the air, his English, well, because now everybody's listening. Before it was like, Nacho, you know the answer? And he would just say it into her earphones. But now she makes him say it on the air. And so no pressure, Nacho. Let's see. Born to Iron Man says, we see eye to eye, Chris. Do you remember when the man is under the knife? Among other scenes, indeed. Yeah, those are scenes that I wish I could unsee. Esto es una frase muy buena en inglés. I wish I could unsee that. Ojalá nunca hubiera visto eso. Que podría no haberlo visto, to unsee something. All right, let's see how you guys are doing on the homophones section. Kubla says it's and they don't sound alike. Those are the correct words, Kubla. Born to Iron Man, and don't sound alike at all. All right, so two of my super show with no namers agree here. Let's see. Also, Kubla taking a stab at today's Say What soundbite. And folks, give it up for Kubla. Nice job. Great job, Kubla. All right, Chris also agrees. She says that these words are not homophones. So right now, that is 3 super show with no namers who are saying that the words resbalar, escurrirse, resbalón, lapsus, error, that word doesn't sound the same as the word dormir o sueño. All right, well, folks, the first word is slip. Guys, I just mopped the floor. Acabo de fregar el suelo. It's wet. It's slippery. Be careful. You might slip. Es ese sonido. Slip. Do you want to slip? Well, then don't walk on the wet floor. It's slippery when wet, like Bon Jovi's album, Slip. Also, a slip or a Freudian slip is if I say the word sex, for example, instead of the word six. So I'm like, there were sex of, oops, what were you thinking about? So that's a slip too. I slipped. I shouldn't have told you that. No te tenía que haber dicho eso, right? I slipped. So it's también, ¿no? Escurrirse, resbalar. Se me escapó. It would be that as well. Slip. Slip is the word, okay? Okay, and the encaje. My grandma used to wear a slip, okay? I don't think it's very common. Do people still wear slips? I don't know. Well, just be careful. If you leave it on the floor, you could slip. Resbalarte. All right, and let me see if there are any other meanings that I've got here. Paso en falso, a slip. También es atracadero, grada. So a pier, un muelle, right? Slip. No es tan común como pier, pero sí que se usa. Slip of paper, una hoja de papel. You can say a sheet of paper. Or I remember when we were kids and we would go on a class trip, you would have to bring in your permission slip. Okay, and that was una hoja que decían tus padres que podías ir. Okay, to slip up, patinar, meter la pata. Oh, I slipped up. Those damn prepositions, right? And wow, I'm going down the list here. To slip away. Time keeps slipping away. Volar, pasar, escurrirse. Wow. Unbelievable. Guys, I've been scrolling bajando la página for like 3 minutes. So unbelievable how many meanings that word slip has. Now, does it sound anything like the word sleep? Okay. Last night, I had a dream. And when I was asleep, I started to slip. do not sound the same. That's right. Slip is the first word. Say it with me. Really important that you're able to make the sound, to reproduce this sound. Slip, slip. Careful you don't slip on the slip before you go to sleep. El problema ahí no es el sleep. A lot of people know how to say the word sleep. It would be that first word that a lot of people would say the same. Did you sleep? I'm like, sleep? No, slip. I slipped. Es un verbo regular. El ed suena a te, en la categoría te. I slipped, right? To slipped. To slip is slipped. So a great word. And sleep también lo usamos como sueño. Oh man, I didn't get any sleep last night. Sleep is an irregular verb. So sleep, slept, slept. And speaking of falling asleep, to fall asleep es quedarse dormido. Y no es fall asleep, es fall asleep. Asleep es una palabra. Speaking of falling asleep, I fell asleep in the movies the other day when I went to go see the new movie by M. Night Shyamalan, o como se dice su nombre. But I know something. You guys are not going to fall asleep in today's Name That Movie. Name That Movie. That's right, folks. That's right. It's Name That Movie only on the Show with No Name. And also, we had one more movie to look at in our spelling bee before we go on to the Name That Movie section. And the last movie we didn't look at yet is the movie Kids. Otra que tiene ese sonido, Kids, slip, Kids, directed by Larry Clark. This came out in 1995. I remember friends of mine being there on the set in Plateau in Washington Square Park, and when they were filming, and they were, they were just hanging out there as they were filming this movie. And I remember watching this movie when I was a kid and being like, because I was pretty young, 1995. I was a teenager, and I remember just being like, whoa. And this dealt with a lot of very controversial subjects. It showed HIV, right, AIDS and drug use among minors, de hecho. Minors, menores de edad. So again, first, drug use in general, I don't recommend it. And then glorifying it, and then if you're going to do it, don't do it with underage people. I've never been a big fan of Larry Clark's movies because of that. I feel like instead of making movies, he wants to exploit young people. It's just the feeling I get over there. All right, well, let's take a look at today's Name That Movie. This is a classic. Are you ready? Oh, no, wait. Okay, I'm going to leave out the name of the main character, because if I give you the name of the main character, you're going to get it without a doubt. Okay, so I'm going to leave the name out. Voy a omitir el nombre. An archaeology professor ventures to seize a biblical artifact known as the Ark of the Covenant. While doing so, he puts up a fight against Rene and a troop of Nazis. Okay, wow. Mentioned Nazis twice on the show today. Okay, so an archaeology professor, which I know you all know him, ventures, se aventura, no? He ventures to go out and do something, right? He ventures to seize, agarrar, coger a la fuerza. De hecho, de ahí sacamos la frase carpe diem, seize the day. He puts up, to seize a biblical artifact known as the Ark of the Covenant. While doing so, mientras que lo está haciendo, he puts up a fight. Do you know this expression? Okay, to fight es pelear, pero to put up a fight es dar guerra, right? No se va fácilmente. He puts up a fight against Rene, it's a character's name, and a troop of Nazis. All right, let me give you guys a clue. Dun 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 dun. Come on, if you don't know it by now, well, ladies and gentlemen, we've got a winner. Please give it up for Kubla. Also, Leonardo. Leonardo says, Chris told me that it could be Raiders of the Lost Ark. That's right. It's Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark, saqueadores del arca perdida, right? So the real thing said, archaeology professor Indiana Jones, pero yo sabía que el momento que te doy Indiana Jones, it's too easy, right? Now, in 1999, this movie, Raiders of the Lost Ark, was added to the National Film Registry, and this is in the United States Library of Congress. They said that this film was culturally, and I quote, culturally, historically, and aesthetically significant. And I agree. Now, there are a couple nods or a couple winks, unos guiños, in this movie here. And well, if you notice, there's an area called the Well of Souls. Okay, the well, el pozo de las almas, and there's a golden pillar behind them. Un pilar, we say pillar behind them, and there's a small engraving. Okay, you got to freeze frame it, si no, no lo ves. And you'll see R2D2 and C3PO. So there's your buddy giving you a little wink, a little nod to his other movies, the Star Wars saga. So there's another spot where you can find these characters, these androids, and they're on the wall behind Indy or Indiana Jones when they first approach the Ark. Cuando primera vez ven la arca o el arca. That's a difficult. I think it's la. I'm going to go with la arca. I don't know. That's a difficult one there. Okay. So I didn't know that. I'm going to check it out now. I've seen the movie a million times, but I didn't know that there were winks to his other characters. And you want to know something crazy? While he was filming this movie, Melissa Matheson and him, I'm talking about Steven Spielberg, they wrote a script during their shooting breaks, cuando estaban tomando descansos en el rodaje. And what they did is they dictated an idea, okay? And that idea ended up being E.T. So imagine that. You're making Raiders of the Lost Ark, and you're telling the story of E.T. during the breaks, getting ready for your next masterpiece. Es el arca. Thank you for confirming that. And I don't know why you guys have masculine and feminine. It makes language learning a lot more difficult. Thanks a lot. I know it's not your fault. So the movie came out in 1981. Obviously, the movie wouldn't be the same without that soundtrack by John Williams, the one and only John Williams. And let's take a look at the scene. Indiana says, the Nazis have discovered Tanis. Los nazis han descubierto Tanis. And Major Eaton says, now just what does that mean to you, Tanis? ¿Y qué quiere decir eso? No, según tú, Tanis. And Indiana says, Tanis is one of the possible resting places of the Lost Ark. Donde está su último sitio, a resting place. Okay? And Colonel Musgrove says, the Lost Ark? He's in shock. And Indiana says, yes, the Ark of the Covenant. The chest, the Hebrews, you say Hebreos, we say Hebrews. The chest es el baúl. The chest the Hebrews used to carry the 10 Commandments in. Los 10 Mandamientos, the 10 Commandments, which is also another amazing movie. And then Major Eaton says, all right now, what do you mean the 10 Commandments? You're talking about the 10 Commandments? Y ese the ahí dándole énfasis es porque está de los de verdad, the or the, ¿no? Cuando pones el énfasis ahí como que no hay otro. You're talking about the Ten Commandments, the Ten Commandments, esos mismos, los auténticos? And Indiana says, yes, the actual let me try and do my Harrison Ford imitation here. Yes, the actual Ten Commandments, the original stone tablets that Moses, you say Moises, we say Moses, the original stone tablets that Moses brought down out of Mount Horeb and smashed. To smash is destrozar, romper en pedazos, right? And smashed, if you believe in that sort of thing. Si crees en esos tipos de cosas. If you believe in that kinda or that sort of thing, is how we would say it. And he says, didn't you guys ever go to Sunday school? ¿No habéis ido al catequismo? Nosotros llamamos Sunday school. Pasa el domingo, cuando tus padres están en misa, pues tienen una clase para los niños. Sunday school. Very logical in English. You call it, if I'm not mistaken, catequismo. Didn't you guys ever go to Sunday school? Look, the Hebrews took the broken pieces, las piezas rotas, and put them into the ark. When they settled in Canaan, they put the ark in a place called the Temple of Solomon. El temple, parecido, where it stayed for many years, donde se quedó durante mucho tiempo, till all of a sudden, nos encanta, yo digo all of a sudden 20,000 veces al día. De repente, y aunque no es de repente, es como muletilla en inglés. Aquí no, pero just so you know, you'll hear that a lot in the United States at least. Till all of a sudden, whoosh, no haces sonido como que raptan, quitan algo, whoosh, it was gone. Ya no estaba. It was gone. And Major Eaton says, where? ¿Y dónde? And Indiana says, nobody knows where or when. Nadie sabe dónde o cuándo. And I know a lot of you guys know this already, but a lot of the Indiana Jones movies were filmed, or at least certain scenes were filmed in Spain, in Almeria as well. The famous Monsul Beach in San Jose, in the Cabo de Gata area. Over there, you can go over and you can check out one of the coolest beaches in the world, in my opinion, because it's got this big rock. I mean, it's fascinating just to see this beach. But you got to watch the scene first with Sean Connery, que no se pronuncia sin, aunque debería, ¿no? Sean, S-E-A-N, sí, así es. No es como scene. So if you haven't seen that scene, you could probably watch it. We're going to take a quick commercial break in about a minute. You can search for, on YouTube, search for Last Crusade, creo que es la película, beach scene, or seagulls, creo que son gaviotas, or umbrella. Check those out because it is an amazing scene, and it's a beach that's just a few hours away. In the summer, it's gotten very, very popular. I'm telling you, nobody really knew about it. And now that area, San Jose, that area of Almeria, which is pretty untouched, bastante virgen. You won't find these huge, tall buildings like you find in Benidorm. And believe me, I love Benidorm. I've got nothing against Benidorm. It's just a totally different style. I think of Benidorm, maybe you guys will agree or disagree with this analysis here. I think of Benidorm as the Las Vegas of Spain. Or Atlantic City, maybe, because it's on the beach. I don't know if that's a fair comparison. All right, well, my amigos, we have to go to our last commercial break. I can't believe it. We have so much to do in the fourth and final part of today's show. So, if I were you guys, I wouldn't even think of going anywhere. Stick around. Hey, amigos, welcome back. Welcome back to the show with no name on Vaughn Radio. Come on in, folks. Come on in. It's time for part 4 of today's show. Remember, you got amazing programs all afternoon long here on Vaughn Radio. So download our free app, and this way you can learn English with us all day long. Yeah. Yeah, amigos. So much to do in this, the 4th and final part of today's show. Also wanted to remind you guys really quickly, we have opened up the signups for our summer camps. So if you're interested in sending the kids to summer camp, you can get more information on our website. It's grupovon.com. Woo! That's right, folks. grupovon.com. And if what you're looking for is materials for self-study, go on over to vontienda.com. And you can learn English every day. They're great companions for the show with no name and other Vaughn Radio shows. Remember, there's a program called Test Your English with Ximena, but there's also a material called Test Your English, and you can play along with Ximena and Nacho. All right, well, guys, welcome back. Welcome back. We've got so much to do, so let's get moving with today's Double Trouble.
Double trouble, baby. Yeah, you know what time it is. Give it up. Double trouble. I said double trouble. Double trouble. I said double trouble.
That's right, amigos. It's Double Trouble only on the show with no name. And as always, I'm going to give you guys a translation. Now, what do you have to do? You have to use the same word twice, and good luck, because, well, that limits your possibilities. Here we go, folks. Eres la bomba, aunque te lesionaste la rodilla. O de la rodilla, I think you would say in Spanish. Ok, pues no te lo he dicho así porque en inglés evidentemente no es de la rodilla. So, eres la bomba, lo mejor, ok? Aunque te lesionaste la rodilla. You have to use the same word twice in this double trouble. Hopefully you guys will be able to figure it out. Also, I've got to give you the Say What soundbite. This is the 4th and final listen.
I'll take my chances on the track any day than on a highway. I think I'd better take off. Take it easy driving. The life you might save might be mine.
All right, there you go, folks. As I said, we've already got, I think, Kubla. I don't know if anybody else got it. Let's take a look at the comments over here in our chat room. Monse says, I'll say Benidorm is more like our small Florida, with retired Spaniards searching for warmer weather. Sin artículo, sin ahí, for warmer weather. Oh, I guess I didn't see that part. You know what? They took me there for my bachelor party, mi despedida soltero. So I saw like the drunk people partying, and like I got the Las Vegas vibe. It's like Ibiza. You know, you got what Ibiza do you want to see? Do you want to see the little coves, las calas? Do you want to go see these little intimate restaurants? Or do you want to go to these mega clubs and party with British people and Germans and Again, I think my friends, they wanted to do the latter. El segundo. But yes, the weather is fantastic. And I did see quite a few elderly people now that you mention it. Let's see. Chris says, I had a glance to the scene. I had a glance at the scene, or I took a look at the scene. If I'm not mistaken, you posted some pics of this area in Almeria. Maybe not, but it rings a bell. Well, first, Chris, you express yourself perfectly in English there. Very nice. And yes, I did a video with Picolinos. You can probably search for it, Picolinos, and they interviewed me about Almeria, and I'm on that beach in the video. If you guys can't find it, maybe I'll remind me and I can share it with you later. But yes, Chris, your memory serves you right. And she says, wonderful scene, by the way. No doubt about it. The scene is awesome. Alay says, hi, Alberto. Do you know Benidorm is the second place with the most skyscrapers per capita in the world? First, New York, of course. Are you serious? I knew I was blown away. I was like, these are mega skyscrapers. We're not talking about 20 floors, 20 stories. So incredible, incredible. All right, let's see. Kubla says, oh, this is the double trouble. Eres la bomba aunque te lesionaste la rodilla. You're a blast even though you blasted your knee. I like it, Kubla. It's creative, but we don't blast. I've never heard that. It wouldn't be normal to say, I blasted my knee, but I like it. I like the way you're thinking. Vero's got the same answer as Kubla. Anybody come up with something else? Let's see. Monse says, you're burning on fire. Although you've burning knee, you have a burning knee. I like it. I like it, guys. I really like it, but it's not what I'm looking for yet. Okay, let me give you a little clue here. Why not? Clues always help. Clue number one, and the only clue I'm going to give you. A couple weeks ago, or was it last week? A week or two ago, I released an FYI episode where I taught you a way to say la bomba, la leche. And it had to do with a certain small animal, a little insect that makes honey. Okay, ya me pasó. So, eres la bomba, aunque te lesionaste la rodilla. Anybody want to try now with that little clue that I'm giving you? Anyone? So I said there was an animal that we looked at, an insect, which produces honey. And we looked at it on FYI. And I taught this expression as well as other expressions that are used, that use this animal. Okay? Me da una vuelta rara ahí. Anyone? I can solve it if you want, but I think I've given you a clue or you might be able to get it now because the second part's pretty easy. Hang on. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got a winner. It's Monse. Monse. Great job, Monse. She says, you're the bee's knees. You're the bee's knees, although your knee was injured. Excellent job. Excellent. The bee's knees, que viene de the business. You're the business. You're the bee's knees. Se transformó a las rodillas de la abeja. You're the bee's knees, even though you injured your knee, or your knee was injured is fine, Monse, as you put it. So I said you injured your knee, or your knee was injured, or you suffered an injury, right? Hay que tener cuidado, no mezclemos ahí. So excellent. Let's see, Chris, you're the bee's knees, even though you have sore in your knee. Bien, Chris, lo único que diría, even though you have a sore knee, or your knee is sore. Uno el otro ahí, but great one, sure. Vero says, you're the bee's knees, though you injured your knee. Absolutely. Guys, wonderful job. You guys are the bee's knees. No doubt about it. You're the bee's knees. And folks, it's time for today's You're Joking.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, what did the guy say when he walked into the bar? Ouch. Ouch. You get it? Ouch. He walked into the bar.
You're joking. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. You know it. It is time for the jokes section. I know this is a section you look forward to the most every day because you just love my jokes. You just can't get enough. You just can't get enough. You just can't get enough of my jokes. And my singing too, right? You're like, stick to the English teaching, man. It was funny because my daughter joined me in class. Last night I had a class with my students, and my daughter came to the class. She stopped by. She was knocking on my door like the big bad wolf, como el lobo feroz. And I brought her on board, and I was just showing off with her, presumiendo. I'm like, is Papi a teacher or a singer? And she says, Papi's a teacher singer. I said, good, you're right. And the students agreed. They're like, yeah, he's always singing on his radio show and his podcast and in my classes as well. All right. So wonderful. Okay, here are your jokes. Let's see if you get them. Have you guys heard my daughter's joke yet? Why are chickens so funny? Because. Lo hace genial too. She does the whole because. All right. Let's focus on our jokes here. Let's get serious, but not too serious. Which English king invented the fireplace? La chimenea. So what English king, or which, you can say what or which, because if we have to choose from, which technically we do. But since we have no idea, I say what there. What or which English king invented the fireplace? Oh, easy. Alfred the Great. Alfred the Great? No. The Great? Okay. All right. Never mind. Anybody get it? All right. Here we go then. Alfred the Great. There's got to be something going on with that great because Alfred is un nombre. All right. El Magno, right? Alexander the Great. El Grande, we say. Well, Alfred the Great was a king, an English king. But also the word great, pero no escrito como grande o magno, great, G-R-A-T-E, es chimenea, hogar. It's another way of saying your chimney, the grate. And if you think about it, tiene una rejilla, right? To protect you. So it would be very normal if the word rejilla was great too. That would be great. Well, yes, the word great, o sea, es una gran rejilla. It's a great grate. And grate, think about this, to grate cheese is, if you're taking a block of Parmesan cheese, you use a grater and you grate the cheese and it tastes great. So careful with those words. They sound exactly the same. No decimos grit, sino great. So you get it now? Which English king invented the fireplace? Alfred the Great. All right. Why did the archaeologist get divorced? And I think this is one that works in Spanish too, now that I think about it. Why did the archaeologist get divorced? Oh, easy. His marriage was in ruins. En ruinas, arruinado. You say the same thing, in ruins, entre ruinas. An archaeologist, they're digging, cavando, excavando, in ruins, Roman ruin. Okay. Oh, all right. All right. How do Egyptologists meet each other? Okay. How do they meet each other? ¿Cómo se conocen Egyptologists? And an Egyptologist is somebody who studies Egypt. So you can say an archaeologist who studies Egypt or another professional in that field. Okay. So how do these people meet? I mean, if they're always out there in the field digging, right? To dig is excavar, también es molar. I think they dig each other. Se molan uno al otro, right? To dig. That's a good name. Ahí había chiste también, right? So how do they meet each other if they're always out there digging? Oh, easy. Carbon dating. Carbon dating. You get it? Datación de carbono 14. But also carbon dating is salir con alguien. We're dating. We're, speed dating es cuando se conoce mucha gente rápida. Carbon date. All right. Fine. I thought it was funny. Well, how else are they going to meet? Carbon dating. All right, guys. I'll move on just because we have a lot of other stuff to do. It's not because I don't have any more jokes up my sleeve. I think it's time for famous birthday trivia.
1, 2, 3. Famous birthdays for you. Famous birthdays for me. Famous birthdays for everyone on the show with no name. Famous birthdays for him. Famous birthdays for her. Famous birthdays for everyone on the show with no name.
That's right, amigos. It's famous birthdays only on the show with no name. We'll see if you guys know who's celebrating a birthday today. The first person was born in 1932, and I mentioned his name before when I hummed, tararear, I think you say, when I hummed these sounds. And he did such a good job on that he eventually ended up doing E.T., the extraterrestrial, another memorable movies with memorable music. I think that's how we could say it. He also did Jaws, El Tiburón. Again, if you imagined any of these movies, Indiana Jones, Jurassic Park, Jaws, Star Wars. Imagine these movies without their soundtracks. So just to give you an idea of how important this guy's composing is. He's one of the greatest composers and conductors ever. A conductor es el director de orquesta. All right. And he's also done more modern movies as well. Saving Private Ryan, the Harry Potter films, Catch Me If You Can. And he's been known to team up with George Lucas, also with Steven Spielberg. So yeah, this guy is the one and only composer. Number 2, this guy was born in 1961, an American singer, songwriter, and actor. I don't think I've ever seen him act before. Well, he did have a porno that came out. I don't think because that's his business. He's a rock star, and one of his pornos surfaced with one of his ex-girlfriends. And he's the lead singer of the heavy metal band Motley Crue, who, by the way, are on tour now. Motley Crue is on tour with Def Leppard, and guess who's going? This guy. So yeah, these guys were the bad boys of rock and roll in the 80s and 90s. And then, well, that music kind of disappeared. But now there's this, as always, it's cycles, son ciclos. So now this 80s and 90s music is getting popular again. Just like when I was a kid, the 60s and 70s, that music got popular in the 80s and 90s because, well, we want to know, what our parents were listening to. It's normal for, music to go in cycles. And the word Motley Crue is Grupo Variopinto. Look at this Motley Crue. Oh, my God. It's an appropriate name if you've ever seen the band. And last but not least, this guy was born in 1931. Probably, I wouldn't say the greatest actor who ever lived, but maybe the most iconic. Because this guy, you could see his silhouette and know who he is. Okay? He was only in 3 movies, too, because he died young in a car accident. He was in Rebel Without a Cause in 1955. He was in East of Eden in 1955. And then in 1956, he was in Giant. And he died in a car crash. And ladies and She says, happy birthday to John Williams, Vince Neil, and James Dean. That's right. It's three superstars over there: John Williams, Vince Neil, and James Dean, the iconic James Dean. And that'll bring us over to today's Say What soundbite. This is James Dean in an interview. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, this was one of his last, if not his last, interviews. And he was filming the movie Giant, which was his third and final film. And they were asking him about driving fast and, about because he liked to race cars. No, le gustaba ir a hacer carreras con coches, which is the irony. That's how he died. And he says, the interviewer says, "Hey, Jimmy, you want to give the kids out there any advice about driving?" Because they were just talking about driving fast. And he goes, "I'll take my chances on a track any day. En una pista cerrada, yo me arriesgo. Then on the highway, pero no en la autovía." He said, "I think I'd better take off. Creo que debería pirarme. I think I'd better take off. Take it easy driving. Tranquilos en la carretera. The life you save might be mine." And those words, I mean, in the end, he died. He said, "I'll take my chances on a track any day than on the highway." And he was killed by a car a couple days, maybe a couple months, not long after. I don't remember the exact time, but not long after. So here he is, the icon, James Dean.
I'll take my chances on the track any day than on a highway. I think I'd better take off. Take it easy driving. The life you might save might be mine.
See, they were laughing about it. And then, well, the irony of life. Folks, it's time for Name That Lyric.
Hi, hello, Alberto. I think the song is. No? Sorry, bye.
Name that lyric, name that lyric, name that lyric, name that lyric only on the show with no name, the show with no name, the show with no name. Name that lyric only on the show with no name, the show with no name, the show with no name. It's name that lyric only on the show with no name.
That's right, amigos. It's Name That Lyric, and thus, y por eso, this is our final section. Thank you once again for all your participation, for all you contribute to the show. If you guys would like to leave me a voice message, not just for me, but for all of your fellow students, you can send it to me. Keep it under a minute. And remember, mind your English. I'll be paying attention and I'll be correcting you. You can send it to alonso@grupovon.com. Also, remember, book your trips to Madrid if you're planning on coming to the book fair, because the book fair is right around the corner. A la vuelta de la esquina. All right, well, this song, I'm going to give it to you guys because, well, I think we don't have too much time here. So what we're going to do is the image this going here. To all of you. Bow.